Five, four, three, two, one.
Good afternoon. This is Jim Eskin, and on behalf of Eskin Fundraising Training, it's my privilege to welcome you to our nonprofit empowerment webinar series. I don't know if this is a lucky number. I think it is. It's a number of cards in a deck. This is number 52. And this is monthly means more money. And she did not invent it, but I am so pleased to have back as a guest. She was on the show in early October, and we had so many requests that we're doing an encore program, but we got some fresh questions. Erica Waasdorp, I don't know how to introduce her. I'm thinking that she is a genuine Renaissance lady because she can do so many different things so well. Help me fact check me, and I can't see her. Wait a minute here. There you go, Erica. By the way, fact check me. I believe you speak 5 different languages. Is
Mm-hmm.
that right? English, Dutch, German, French, and Spanish.
See? Yep.
Since you're in, but as I'm from Boston, and since you're in Marston Mills,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, do you speak Boston?
I speak a little Boston, but I can park the car. Yeah.
That's
But I'm
not
not as good
bad.
at it. Yeah.
But she does so many things. This is her second webinar today. She has spoken literally all over the world, and she has shed such a shining light on monthly giving. And we're going to kind of share that spotlight. Also, two other, her husband and her, if that's not enough, they're pretty good on the ballroom floor dancing. And this is where she has my heart. You know, I Google you, I Google everyone. She's a champion of animal welfare. So we appreciate that. She again is based in a little town called Marston Mills. What's the weather today, Eric?
It's pretty good actually. We had rain this morning, but it's sunny now. So my husband is probably going to be playing pickleball tonight.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's his passion right now. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, again, Erica published one of the very few books on monthly giving, and it was called a surprise monthly giving, The Sleeping Giant. And if you haven't read it, that's your problem. It's just one of the questions. I'm going to get off script for a second, but and she has created numerous resources like the monthly roadmap, the top 7 questions about monthly giving and monthly donor retention. And guess what? She's not satisfied. You can count in days. Erica is getting very close to her second book, and she's going to tell us about that. Erica, I call this just when you have a great guest like you, get right to it. So if it's okay, I'm going to ask you, I think it's 4 questions kind of out of the
Okay.
gate. And then I'm going to do a little background, and then we'll get back to a Q&A. And by the way, I want to welcome our producer, Michael Largent from Game Day Media. Michael, can you take a second how people can share questions or comments either by typing in the chat space or better yet, joining us on camera?
Sure. You're breaking up a little bit on my end, Jim.
Okay.
But yeah, so you just want me to talk about how people can ask questions?
Yeah. How do I
Sure.
sound now?
So you're good. You're good. It might be on my end. Anyways, yeah, if you're listening and you have questions, you can either type them into the chat space below, but what we would really prefer is everybody has the ability to turn on their camera and unmute their mic. So we'd love it if you would come on camera and ask your questions that way when we ask for questions, because we can give a better answer that way.
Right. Okay. Erica, I would be a fool not to open the show by asking someone like you this question. Could you share your observation about 2020 and philanthropy and COVID 19? And did you notice any changes, particular in your space of monthly giving?
Yeah. So I mean, so first of all, I think we all want to forget 2020. But we guess it forgot us. But in terms of philanthropy, I mean, it's been a tremendous banner year. So I think all of the statistics, all of the trends are showing that right now. And I just saw M&R Strategic benchmarks just came out. If you're doing anything with social media, email, that is a fantastic resource, and you can even benchmark yourself. So I would highly recommend you check that out, M&R Strategic Benchmarks 2021. Um, and then I just got the Blackbot Sustainer benchmarking
Yeah, I saw
started.
that.
So
And
yeah,
we'll
so I haven't fully analyzed it yet, but I know that organizations raised a lot of money, those that were out there asking. So those organizations that sent mail, that email, social media,
that's
people
a
were giving, donors
that's
were
a
giving.
that's a crazy notion. The more you ask, the more you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
Hey, some people like you are authors and speakers, they consider books like their babies. I know you had a baby, Monthly Giving, The Sleeping Giant, and I understand. Can you tell us a little about the second Erica book
Yeah,
that's
so the
going to be
second book
here?
so and then I'll jump back to the philanthropy trends, but the second book is very much like a monthly giving made easy. It's literally you can pull up a page and saying, okay, well, here's something you can do. So it's a very tactical
Good.
approach. It's because, I think everybody knows that they need to do monthly giving, but now how do you actually do it? And I still don't see a lot of people doing some of the best practices. So I think there's just a lot of like missed opportunities. So I think if you can literally take it and say, oh, okay, add a button, do an email, send a special email. I mean, there's a lot of different things that people can
Yeah.
do that they're not doing. So, but yeah, I mean, so that's it. Monthly Giving Made Easy is my new book, and it's very tactical, just
What's
approaches.
what's the timeline for it?
Well, I mean, I sent the latest edit to my designer, and I'm just waiting for the Library of Congress number right now. So I got the ISBNs, and so it's probably coming out. I'm hoping in May. It may not be until June. It depends on how long it takes to get it printed.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm excited about that. And again, like my last book was published in 2012. So since then, a lot has changed, right?
Right.
So that's very exciting. And there's just a lot more opportunities, multi-channel, like a lot of things you can do via email and online that you couldn't do in 2012. So the tools are there. It's just people have to focus on it. But
Hey,
yeah, I mean, even in 2020, organizations that were asking for monthly gifts were able to generate monthly gifts.
mm,
So especially where, if you could give the donor the feeling that they could support your organization with a small amount, because some people like, oh, I don't know how much I can give because they didn't know what their financial situation was going to be, right?
yeah.
But a lot of donors are on fixed incomes. I mean, they did not see a change, so in fact some of them had more money, extra money,
Right.
because they weren't going out to eat, they weren't going to the movies, they weren't so they had some extra money to give away. So definitely those organizations that asked for monthly gifts were growing. So
Hey, let's start with a real basic question. What is a monthly giving program and what isn't a monthly giving program?
it's a great question. Well, a monthly giving program is a program that where the donor can make monthly gifts to your organization. And it's typically includes having a name for the program. And it can be as simple as, friend of whatever the organization is, right? Friends of this, circle of friends, sustainers, partners, hope build, and then you get into some specific names. So usually a monthly giving program has a name to it that will help recognize the donors so that they feel part of a community. Um, I know some consultants say, well, it's a subscription program. It's a subscription. And the reality is it may feel like a subscription, but it really is more than that. It's not, it's not like um it's not like Netflix, right? I mean, yes, you pay for it, from your credit card or your bank account, but as a monthly donor, if you're part of a monthly donor program, you feel much more engaged with the organization, and you're actually going to give more money, you're going to get more engaged, you're going to get more involved. I mean, so, and then ultimately you're going to leave the organization and you will. So it's really a loyal donor program, if you will, so, and donors love that. And again, but you also allow them to make a gift, in a way that's comfortable for the donor's budget. So,
Hey,
so small.
Erica, as we know, we had to get used to virtual communication, virtual fundraising, and contact free fundraising.
Right.
Isn't monthly giving a wonderful contact free practice?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great way to give online. But some donors still like to send checks, and some organizations still have monthly donor programs that allow checks. So again, it's very donor centric. It's all about the donor, right? It's not really about the organization per se.
Erica, let's shoot for three learning objectives today. And one, we're going to talk about the rationale for monthly giving, how to start a program, and how to grow a program. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to give a little general background. Our audience is made up of a diversity of nonprofit leaders. Some are CEOs and executive directors. Some are directors of development. We have board chairs. We have board members. We have donors. We have volunteers. And they prove us, and you've worked with them so much, we love you because every day you remind us of this big question. One person indeed can make a difference, and that
Hmm.
happens. And I don't care how big you are or what sector of the nonprofit space you're in. The driver is passion. We
Hmm.
see incredible passion. And, when our nonprofits do well, we all do well. And the reason is you all each day, and we were reminded more keenly in 2020 than ever, you all every day touch, improve, and save more lives.
Hmm.
And I'm going to go quickly. I started this, Erica, about 3 years ago because I had the privilege of working with community and business leaders from a wide range of backgrounds, and they were fearless with everything they were asked to do, with one exception, asking for a gift. I think part of the reason was we didn't do a good enough job as practitioners of demystifying what I call the art and science of fundraising.
Hmm.
Michael, I want to check. Do we have Fred? Because we're going to talk about upcoming webinars. By any chance, is there a Fred Stubing in the audience? He might not be in the audience.
Let me check.
FFSTE, I think, is the beginning of his email address.
I don't see him right now, but
Okay,
if you're in
well,
the audience, Fred, you can unmute yourself and turn
I
on your
was going to
mic
say
and
we
join.
are done. Next week, monthly giving is big. So is in donor advised funds, and
Oh
we're going
yeah.
to talk about that.
And you
I
can make
mean,
recurring gifts through donor advised funds.
oh, talk about that. Talk about monthly giving and DAF. What can you?
Yeah, so I mean, you can make so you cannot pay pledges. You cannot pay off pledges for capital campaigns through your donor advised funds, but you can make recurring gifts through your donor advised fund. So you can set it up to it's a minimum of $50. So that's the only upside, if you will. So these are like relatively bigger donors, right? Bigger monthly donors. But yes, you can set that up, and you can set up an end date, or you can not set up an end date.
Yeah.
So,
I got to tell you, it's just amazing the way they're exploding.
yes,
Fidelity alone, they're the leading, granted $9.1 billion. I mean,
yes,
it's,
yes,
it's the
it's
most
amazing.
dynamic
Yep.
vehicle. And you were talking, you rather forget 2020, me too, for a lot of reasons. But in philanthropy, we're beginning to get data in from the
Yes.
fundraising effectiveness project. Philanthropy overall was up about 11%, with
Yes.
a particular spike in small givers between
Yes.
250 and $500. I call her Wonder Woman. Mackenzie Scott gave her $6 billion unrestricted. lump sum to the underserved communities such as African American, Latino, and Tribal American. The
Hmm.
Lilly School has put out their projections. And again, Erica will tell you the biggest predictor of philanthropy is the stock market, and we see it at record levels. It's hiccuping a little this week. The Lilly School has put out its projections, and it's for philanthropy to continue to move upwards. There are 1.5 million nonprofits in the country. We have 100,000 in Texas. We have 6,000 in San Antonio. And most of them are small. And I think, by the way, I'm going to jump questions. And
Hmm.
can't we say most 88%, as you see, of our nonprofits are under a half million? Can you talk about you don't have to have a huge staff
You
and
don't.
infrastructure?
Wait,
Talk a little about that.
wait. So and that's especially like too. I mean, again, when I wrote the first book, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. When I wrote the first book, a lot of the tools weren't there. Now there's payment processors and donor bases. They all allow you to accept recurring gifts, monthly gifts. So you have the tools already. It's through your website, right? And your online giving page, right? So and then it just like little tweaks to your thank you messaging, setting up a separate page for monthly only, that you can then drive people to in your emails. And you know that's one step that a lot every organization, no matter what size, can do.
Hmm.
So so that's where I would start. Excuse me.
Hey,
Um,
by the way, Erica, we have a little tradition. We ask everyone to type in the chat space the three words nonprofit strong. Everyone type that in. And okay. Erica, are you back with us?
yeah, yeah, right.
Okay, what are we? The three words. What are we?
Nonprofit strong.
You're exactly right. Okay, that means we'll continue with our interview. And by the way, let me remind the audience of any time you have a question or a comment, you can chat it in, raise your hand. And I have lots of questions for Erica, but we like to put the audience first. You talked about monthly giving being so lucrative. Do you
Right.
have some data to share that
So a
would illustrate that?
yeah, a couple of things. With first of all, monthly donors give more money, right? So if you look at the fact that appeals, when the average, and again, like most of the monthly donors are smaller than 250, right? So they're not your big check writers yet. They can be later on if you do it, if you cultivate them. But they typically give like 50. If you get an appeal, they get $58. If you get a donor to make a gift of $24 a month, which is the industry average right now, so that is $288 a year. So you've just like sextupled the value of your donor, right? By just asking them to give monthly. Um, so that's one. The other thing is the donor retention goes up because people will stay with you. They give through their credit card, or if you get them to give through their bank account, which a lot of organizations are now starting to do as well, then you can get up to like 90 to 95% retention rate, and they're going to stay with you for multiple years, right? So they'll stay with you for 5 to 7 years to sometimes 20, 25 plus years. It depends on how young they are. And you can now, more and more younger donors are giving monthly. They can't write the big checks, but they can give on their phone. So again, we're definitely seeing that trend of younger donors, and a lot of those are giving through their bank account. So again, there's all of those reasons why monthly giving is so powerful.
We
And just
have a
because they
diverse,
go
yeah,
ahead, sorry, go
we
ahead.
have a diverse audience. We have the arts and education, animal welfare, healthcare, many different sectors. And my question is, can monthly giving basically work no matter what your mission is?
Yeah, yeah, it can. Yes,
Talk a
it
little
can.
about that.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, if you can be specific, and I know people always say, oh, Charity Water, a great example, right? Charity Water, great example, right? So, and again, Charity Water, why are they so successful? They have a great mission. But they also have really made a shift to say, we want to only focus on monthly giving. They
Really?
saw that power of saying, look, I don't want to be doing these events anymore. I don't want to have to worry about these one-offs and things like that. I really am focused on monthly gifts, right? So that's been a major driver in why their program is so successful. But the other thing is that they have, and a lot of you have, is be specific in what can $5 a month do? What can $10 a month do, right? So again, this is still fundraising. We
Yeah.
still have to help the donors set the price. And, I mean, we just have to give them some examples. So I think the more you can do that. So if you're using specific examples in your one-off fundraising, you need to translate that to monthly giving. So say you're saying $75 does this, then translate it to $25 a month does that, right? So the more specific you can be in giving examples to your donors to help them, set the price, that's good. But even if you can't do that, like a lot of health organizations don't want to, they don't want to say, obviously, if they're doing research, whatever, but you could still say like $8 a month can do, can help make a difference, can get us closer to the cure. I'm just blanking out. I saw something that the Parkinson's Foundation just did that was really, really strong. If you go to their website, um so there's a lot of things that you can do that, just give some examples that will help the donor understand that they can make a difference with especially even with a small amount.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a food organizations last year, poverty or hunger and poverty organizations did tremendously well,
Hmm.
obviously in COVID. And you can be very specific as to what does it cost? $4 a meal, $10 a meal. I mean, whatever it is, right? So, we can help so many kids. We can do, we can provide so many meals to seniors, things like that. So that's kind of like the one key element that will help you set the stage for donors.
Right. Hey, you touched on this a little in the beginning, but it's so important. I want to come back to it. One of the biggest challenges we face is donor retention. Can
Mhm.
you talk about the impact of monthly giving on donor retention?
Wait, well, I just mentioned like earlier, again, the donor retention goes from like, I think on average, and I think I just saw like something that donor retention had gone down like
Yeah,
43%.
yeah.
So 43% to, 90%, right? So,
I'll
so
take
if you
that
can,
any day. I'll take that any day.
right. So if you can get them to give a monthly gift, even if it's a smaller amount, you can, I mean, even if they go from, $58 to $10 a month, you're still keeping them, right? So, and I think the other thing is like people used to think that once they become a monthly donor, then you can't touch them anymore, right? They get they're in that program and I can't, I can't touch them. The reality is that those donors are very involved. So if you want to do a virtual tour, if you want to send a video, I mean, from the field, I mean, a thank you video from the CEO, invite them to a town hall or a conference call once a quarter. There's lots and lots of things that you can do that help them engage with your organization that don't cost an arm and a leg at all.
Mm,
And you may already be doing something in your major donor department if you have a department, or you may already be doing something with your major donors that you say, well, oh, if you're doing a conference call with the executive director for your major donors, well, invite your monthly donors to it. What do you got to lose by doing that, right?
yeah.
So and I think that's another big thing I put that in my book too, is like repurpose.
Mm,
Repurposing is great.
mm.
I mean,
Hey, hey, do me a favor. Repeat that. Repeat that.
repurpose. I mean, I hear so many, and again, I work with smaller organizations,
Yeah.
mid-size, larger. I mean, but they're all over the map, and a lot of times they're like, "Oh, we just developed this great video and we put it on social media." Okay, well, I'm not on social media that much, so can you send it to me via email? Okay, right? So and put it in your e-newsletter, next month, right? So it's okay. Put it in your welcome email or a thank you email that goes out to somebody, right? So there's just so much stuff that you all do, you create, that you can repurpose to make a donor feel good and to say, wow, I support this organization, I'm giving monthly, you know and I think the other thing then is like you could tell I'm getting really passionate about this. The other thing is again, just because they give monthly doesn't mean that you can't send them your Giving Tuesday match email, or your Giving Day email, or your appeals if you're sending your newsletter, your print newsletters, your email newsletter, right? So, but do me a favor, say thank you for being part of our monthly donor program,
Yeah.
in it. And you'll see the open rates are higher. I mean, the click through rates are higher for monthly donors. So have them as a separate segment in your email program. So it's they care, they love you, they want to hear from you, and they're going to give more money. So
Right on.
yeah,
Hey,
Jim, we
listen.
actually got a question from
Okay.
the audience.
Okay, what do you have? And
yeah,
do they want to come on camera? We'd like to see them, but we'll
yeah.
take it chat space.
Yeah, Fred. So Charlotte Ann just typed in one, but we had Fred Zax, I think is how you say that.
Oh, yeah.
Raise his hand.
Can he come on screen? I think it's the first time for him. I
Yeah,
want
Fred, if you want to unmute
Fred,
and
we wanted to welcome you to our learning community. People have the last name Z stand out.
Yeah. W's too, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Fred, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and thank you for
Okay, there he is, Fred. And what nonprofit do you work with?
Friends of Balcones Canyonlands National Wildlife Refuge.
Oh,
We're
nice.
outside.
Tell us a little
And
bit about it. Tell us about it, and then get to your question. But
the Friends group is to support the refuge in their mission, and Friends can do a lot of other things that Fish and Wildlife Service is limited. So we can advocate, we can raise money, we can donate, we can be a conduit for helping the refuge with money, purchases of property, environmental education. We do a whole suite of different activities.
well, let me say, first of all, thank you for your service and leadership. And if you have a question about monthly giving, you got the best person on the planet to respond. So your question?
Question, we're starting out, we've had a revitalization, new strategic plan, looking to bring on an executive director in about another 3 months or so. And we're still working. Our basic giving for the next 2 years, 3 years is covering operating expenses. We really want to, within to getting us to that point, once we're comfortable, we can cover ourselves, then we'll be able to crank up specific giving, restricted fund donations, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So how does our messaging work when it's hard to say that, you're helping to pay for the executive director, or you're helping to pay for this program?
Yeah. So first of all, like, monthly giving is typically unrestricted money.
Hey, Erica,
yeah.
repeat that. I love that. Repeat
Monthly monthly giving is unrestricted money. So that helps cover the operating expenses, right? So again, somebody can choose, or like it's part of the annual fund if some people are using that annual fund word, right? But yeah, so that's really important to remember. So it's just like right now, I mean, if you send a donor or potential donor to your online giving page, you will have the one-time giving option and the monthly giving option on there. So, and again, so donors can choose how they want to support you. It's then the messaging is like, well, all right, well, we need your ongoing support because we've got all these great, plans. We've got these programs that we want to execute. And it's less about covering the salary for the executive director, because the reality is you can't execute the programs if you don't have the executive director leading them, right? So I think that's, that's always that fine line between, how do you ask for operating money? And, again, you need people to execute programs, right? So,
And I love
yeah,
the two words, capacity building.
yeah,
The money for
yes,
capacity
right,
building.
yeah.
Fred, did that answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. It,
We hope
it really helped.
we hope you'll come back. I think I heard Charlotte Ann. Is there anyone else that has a question? I have a
I think I
gazillion
see some
more.
other chat people. So,
Okay.
yeah.
What do we have, Michael, in the chat?
Yeah, so Charlotte Ann, do you want me to read your question or you just want to ask it?
I can come on if you're
Yeah, perfect.
By
you
the
can do it.
way, Charlotte Ann is going to be our expert on the program on, is it May 16th?
Yes,
May
it is.
19th? May 19th.
May 19th. May 19th.
God, I mean, I'm glad you know. And it's going to be the do's and don'ts of virtual communication.
Oh, great. That's excellent.
Charlotte Ann is the founding exec director of Nowcast SA. Can you take a moment to share the work of Nowcast and then get to your question?
Sure, I can. So Nowcast SA is a nonprofit, nonpartisan news organization in San Antonio. We have before COVID done a world of live streaming. So some people refer to us as sort of a local C-SPAN. And we, one of the things that we're noted for also are our maps. And right now, as we head into the city election for all 10 city council seats, the mayor's seat, and 2 propositions on the ballot, we have an polling places map that has been used by more than 185,000 different individuals in the last 10 years. And I'm taking credit for getting every one of their sorry butts out to vote.
Thank you.
Nice.
So my question, I'm sorry, I wrote it in the chat and now I have to look at the chat to remember what my question was. So talk about the care and feeding, or the care and thanking of monthly donors. Other folks have told us to touch donors 7 times a year. And I think that perhaps it may come as a surprise to some of my monthly donors who have been plunking along steadily at $10 a month, what they're, what they've done in total, which Stripe has tallied up for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, I mean, again, every organization is different, right? So your plan will be different depending upon what you can and can't do. So again, if you're a smaller organization, I mean, it's all about like repurposing and trying to see what you can do. So when somebody joins your monthly donor program, I typically recommend that no matter how they came on, that you send them, number one, I mean, if they're coming online, they'll get a thank you email that's typically generated by the system, but test it out and make sure it's like it's as warm and fuzzy as you can make it, right? Sometimes they're receipts, right? So if your system spits out this receipt, then follow up with a warmer, fuzzier thank you email, maybe even a little thank you video, right? Saying thank you, welcome to this monthly donor program. And then if you can do phone calls, great, give them a call, right? Say thank you so much. Hey, I'd love to find out why you're giving monthly, right? You can use that as a testimonial to reach out to other monthly donors. And then finally, I do recommend, no matter if they came in, and I know, like, unless you're an environmental organization that says we're absolutely not doing any mail, but send them something in the mail, a thank you letter, where you include your contact information. So if they have questions, they know whom to call, and just tell them from now on, you're part of a special group. We call them whatever, if you have a name for that. And then say you're going to receive updates during the year on how your gifts are making a difference. Don't hang yourself up on how many updates you're going to send, because you want to leave that open, right? You want to send them something surprising, rather than saying, oh, you're going to get bi-monthly updates and then you can't get away with it, right? So so just send them from now on. You're going to get updates. You're not going to receive monthly thank you letters in the mail, but you will receive a tax letter in January that tallies up all of your giving, so you don't have to keep track of that, right? So those are just a couple of, and I'm happy to share with Jim, like I have a tax letter template, so but those are just a couple of the basics, the must do early on, like sending him a thank you letter, hard copy. And then if you have a print newsletter, send them the print newsletter. If you have an appeal, send them an appeal. And on top of it, you write a personal note. Thank you so much for your ongoing monthly support. I want to share like this month's story with you, or like this latest appeal with you. And, and then if you're in the virtual world, maybe there is some virtual tours that you can give, or announcements of new programs. I mean, whatever you think fits with your organization that they might want to hear about, right? So what those things are. But I think and doing a little survey and saying, why are you giving monthly?
Hmm.
What would you like to find out more about? What would you like to hear about more? So it's okay to do a survey. It's okay to pick up the phone and say, I just want to say thank you. Wow, you're really, making a difference, right? So you've kept us going throughout COVID. I mean,
Hmm.
so just something personal that you think can be done, so
That's
yeah.
great. I have a lot more
Thank you.
questions
That was
for
great.
Erica.
Yeah.
Just,
So
do we have anybody else with a question, Michael?
Yeah, we've got one more question. It looks like
Okay.
from Sam Ministries. I can see that you're
yeah,
on camera. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question, or do you
yeah.
want me to read it?
Which one is this? Nikisha Baker, or who do we have from Sam?
It is, Jim. It is
Hi.
Nikisha Baker.
Nikisha's, by the way, going to help us out on May 12th. So, by the way, take a second. I don't know if you've met Erica. Nikisha Baker is the new CEO of Sam Ministries. Why don't you take a moment to acquaint Erica with Sam?
Sure. Thanks, Jim. Erica, team, Sam Ministries is an interfaith ministry whose mission is to help the homeless and those at risk of becoming homeless. We have operated in the San Antonio marketplace for nearly 40 years and are serving about 4,000 vulnerable households every year with housing programs and interventions and support services. Our goal is, of course, to help folks overcome homelessness and become self-sufficient for the long term. So thank you for taking the time to visit with us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for doing what you're doing. So it's very important.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll put you, Nikisha, I'm good at putting people
Yeah.
on the spot. Do you have, because she's been in the, I believe before was with the universities, any experiences you want to share with monthly giving?
I actually was going to ask a question about large gift price points, right? How do you address that? So we have I think a pretty robust monthly giving program. We have about 500 monthly donors.
That's great. Awesome.
That support our organization. But we're always, of course, trying to increase those donors, right? So when we get you to $100, we want to get you up to 150 and so on and so forth. So once you get into those higher levels, what advice would you give us? What is compelling at those higher price points?
Well, again, I mean, it's kind of like number one, you could ask them, say, if you have a conversation, say, what would you like to hear about more? What would, what would, help you get even more excited about our organization? So I think.
Hello? Hello? Michael, are you there? I think did we lose?
Like Erica's frozen.
Okay, let's give her a second. Hey, Lindsay, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, by the way, and is it was it Dress San Antonio? Which is Dress for Success? Who are you representing today?
Yes, Dress for Success. You got it.
Can you take a moment to tell us about Dress for Success? She's muted.
Sure. Yes. We're an organization that works to empower women by helping them out with some job soft skills and getting them some professional clothing for interviews. And then after they're able to get an interview and maybe get their foot in the door with a job, they can come back to us for some follow-up support with a professional women's group. And then, of course, if they need additional clothing, we can always work that out with them as well. So we're open. This has been something we've been trying to put out in the community. We're still open. We're thriving even after the pandemic.
You know what? Can I put my 2 cents in?
Yes.
That I've noticed, while my wife and I are talking, my suit, my closet is full of suits because of my prior lives. I can't remember the last time I put one on. I can't remember the last time Andrea got dressed up. We have a lot of extra clothes, and we know we're not alone.
Well, we will be happy to take women's. We're only taking women's clothing,
Okay.
but we could direct you to where you could donate that men's clothing for sure.
But I'm just saying, it should be a great time. I think a lot of us realize we don't need as much of the dress-up clothes,
Sure. So this is a great time. You talked about repurposing things earlier. Great time to repurpose your closet, your best of your closet, to somebody who really, really needs it right now, who can't afford it. So we're definitely accepting donations of professional clothing, and
Hey,
we'll take those.
by the way, before we take your question, Michael, we have any chance, any luck getting Erica back?
Let me check if she's in the list right now of participants. Yeah, I don't see her on the participants list. I'll send her an email, and she should be able to just rejoin.
Okay, Erica, you want to come back on? Not Erica, I'm sorry, Lindsay.
Sure. So I was just.
I mean, you're going to test my intelligence. We're in trouble. But what's your question?
Oh, I was just making the comment that I think we lost her there when we were talking about Erica there a second ago. So just hopefully she can get back on.
Okay. And if need be, okay. And Dress for Success. If my wife wanted to donate some suits, she's in the same place. I mean, you go to your website, or what's the process? And can you get clothes picked up? Tell us how the mechanics work.
We're actually not able to pick clothes up these days, but I'm going to put somebody's information in the chat,
okay,
which will be very beneficial to everybody.
And I take it there are drop-off points then, or how's it work?
We're working on getting some more drop-off points. Right now, we're doing our donations by phone reservation. So if you'll give us a call and tell us that you're coming by, we'll be happy to meet you there at the organization and get that processed for you. Typically, all it is you drive up, you dump it pretty much with us, and then you're free to go. We do all the rest after that. Just get you an invoice, a donation receipt, and then of course we definitely want to make sure that we.
And while I got you, I have to ask: are any type in clothes in particular desired? What type of clothes you looking for?
Well, we're always looking for some of those static pieces, some gray, black, khaki colored.
Pardon me 1 second. We got live television. Erica, are you having?
Yeah, back?
I'm here.
Okay, are you able to get on screen? I think Michael.
No, I lost my internet for some reason. I think we have like a large wind, and that's going to take me a while to reset that. So.
Oh, is there a way? I wonder if there's a way we can just put you on audio. Can you just call in?
Audio is fine. Yeah.
Can you just, Michael, are you there?
What's the number?
Michael?
Yes, I'm here.
Michael, pardon me.
I'll send her the information for calling in.
No, okay, yeah, you're gonna send her. Okay, Michael's gonna send you the information for calling in. Okay.
Yeah, but I can't get emails. So what's the number?
Oh, Michael. Michael.
Yeah.
You can't get emails. So
you want me to?
You can go ahead.
Do you want me to tell you my number?
Yeah. No. She wants to call in. So what's the number?
I'll tell you when I have to look it up real quick.
Thanks everyone for being a little patient.
Yeah,
The big winds have taken power down Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So we had that in Texas. Michael, and she's waiting for the number to call in. Okay. And hold on a second, Erica. We still.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Charlotte Ann, you want to talk a little about what we're going to talk about in the do's and don'ts of virtual communication on
Certainly. Although I'm copying and pasting all this information about Dress for Success and where I can donate my clothes, which is really, really delightful. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your plan B.
By the way, so you know, if Michael finds that number, he's going to interrupt you because Erica's
That's
waiting
okay.
to hear it.
That's okay. One of the things that I, as a journalist,
I'm sorry to me. What was that, Erica?
No, I said if I'm on the phone, I can't look at my text thing.
So do you not have, it was on, I'm sorry, this is Charlotte Ann is Michael, are you there?
Yes. Are you ready for me to read the number?
Okay, I'm going to repeat it. So go ahead. Go real slow. Go real
Okay.
slow.
Try 301
Yeah,
715
yeah.
8592.
Okay, Erica, 301 715 8592. 301 715. And by the way, Michael, will she be on the computer when she calls in?
So it'll just be her voice, I think.
That's fine. That's fine. But so I'm going to hang up. Erica, do you got that number?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, but that voice will be on the computer. We don't have too much time to go. Okay,
Yeah, right.
folks.
So-
Charlotte Ann, you know about live TV and radio, right?
Yes, and I also know about Plan B,
Okay.
and Plan C, and sometimes Plan D.
But
And
talk about what type of things.
So-
I know you have a tip sheet. We'll do.
yes, I do have a tip sheet, and a couple of the things that are really, really important for the tip sheet for my presentation, that things that I have learned the hard way, is that while AirPods, those little cute little white things that people put in their ears, are really adorable, they and other wireless things have a real tendency to go south at just the wrong moment, even when you think that they're fully charged. So one of the biggest tips for a successful online presentation is to use wired earbuds like Jim is wearing, and like I am wearing right now. Your audio will be much better, and it also won't just like fail on you because it's plugged in, and things that are wired and plugged in are really the best you can possibly do right
I
now.
hate to say it, it's usually a lot cheaper too. Hey, I think I got Erica here. Let me see. Erica, were you able to get in?
No, I need a meeting.
This is really live TV.
I know.
Michael, she needs a meeting ID.
Give me one moment and I can find that.
Okay. Folks, thanks for your patience. Is there anybody else who wants to come on camera? So we'll let you go, but we got to give that meeting ID to Erica.
I've got it right now. Are you
Okay,
ready?
go ahead. Okay.
Okay, it's 815
Yeah.
7883
7883. Yeah.
5532.
Okay, let me try. Erica, 815 783 5532.
815-788-3553.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Hey, folks, we're going to make this work if it kills us. Okay, hey, what do you do when you lose your guests by their internet goes down? What do you do, Charlotte?
Well, we actually
Hold it, now
I usually have a hotspot lined up for people. I try to have a hotspot lined up for speakers so that they can use their phone as a hotspot, or have another hotspot, or sometimes additional power sources. But basically a hotspot is a really good thing to have, and it's happened to us when we were streaming live, and I've had to switch over to a different internet while we were streaming live. We also stream live sometimes from places that do not have any internet, and we bring our own tools for that. But yeah, hotspots are really good things. The other thing for folks is to keep in mind that if you can face a window, like I'm facing right now, I'm not sure if you can see it, but facing a window and getting natural light is the best possible thing that you can do. Do not be backlit. And up there she is. I see her. I see her phone.
Yeah, Michael, let's bring her on. We're gonna go. See, we're so stubborn. We're gonna make this work if we have to. Hello, Marston Mills, Massachusetts. Are you there?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay. Tell you what. Any other questions? I'm going to ask you to chime in. I'm showing some slides that I guess because you don't have any internet, you can't see. You know, one of the things in fundraising, we're going to have to tag team by a little. We got 10 more minutes, and we're going to make use of it. Is donor lifetime value. We're not interested in one-time transactions. We want to keep the donor for as long as we can. And monthly giving is just one of the best ways to maximize what we call donor lifetime value. And again, it works for all groups. By the way, Michael, do we have any questions?
I didn't completely finish like Sam's question, but yeah. So
okay, let's keep.
If anyone has any questions, go ahead and jump on right now.
Oh man, hey Erica, wasn't this exciting? We're just beginning to improvise, but let me ask you: are there any particular?
Hey, the money. Hey, this is exactly an example why monthly giving works, because even if the internet doesn't work, the money still keeps coming in. You know, so as long as the donor has made their gift, you know.
I hope you didn't say that on purpose.
No.
Is there any demographic group that monthly giving fits more than the other?
Well, I mean, people ask me that sometimes too, and it's you know, it's really all over the map. I mean, I've seen that more and more younger donors are willing and able to make monthly gifts, but it's still like the bulk of your, like wherever your regular donors come from. You know, I mean, I think I saw a study like the average donor age right now is 64. So, and a lot of baby boomers, you know, they're comfortable giving by mail, they're comfortable giving online, and they are comfortable making monthly gifts. I think what I am, you know, like and historically, monthly giving has been a little bit more popular with, you know, that 45 to 64 range, and then 64 to say 70-ish. Once they get older, people are like, sometimes people are not comfortable giving their credit card yet. I mean, you know, so it's I would say right now it's the baby boomers and below. So.
Okay. By the way, Michael, any other questions? I have a couple more for any other from the audience at this moment, and we'd like them to come on camera. Anybody in the audience like to come on camera?
Hey Jim, this is Dan.
Dan, go ahead.
Hey, well, so how do you get started? I mean, and how do you sort of get the word out?
Okay, yeah. Okay, you don't have a monthly giving program. What are your first steps,
Right.
Erica?
Yeah, so the first step is to make sure that people can actually make a monthly gift, right? So look at your monthly, your one-time giving forms and make sure that the recurring giving option is there, and then create a special like monthly only page. So that way you can direct people there. So that's one. And then I think the second thing is like, just like start sending some emails out and saying, hey, you know, we're launching this monthly giving program. And we're looking to especially like support, the organization on an ongoing basis, and click here if you'd like to support us with as little as $5 or $10 a month. Right. So keep it relatively easy, but really no different from your other fundraising emails. The only difference is that you have that monthly giving ask in it, instead of a one-time giving ask, right?
Hey, Erica, I'm going to ask three things of you. You know, I'm a fundraiser, so I know what to ask. I'm going to blame Cape Cod Power Company. But number one, we're going to ask you to come back for a third time. We'll give you 3 or 4 months. Number two.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I promised Andrea that we're going to the Cape sometime the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
You Andrea and Pat are going to get lobster rolls at your favorite
Yeah.
restaurant. That's request number 2.
Okay.
Finally, request number
Yes.
3, I'm showing a slide of the monthly donor map devised by Erica Waasdorp. We're going to
Yeah.
post something on LinkedIn. Can you
Mhm.
follow up my comments and provide a link to the monthly donor map?
Yes. Yeah. And I think the other thing, one of the things I want to throw out there, because I know one of you, we didn't complete the, so send my, put my email out there, and you feel free to send me an email, and I'll happy to answer the questions. So I'm very responsive on the email.
Yes, she is. She's not kidding.
What-
And
Yeah, if
What
my
is-
internet works.
what is her email?
What's that?
Dan,
It's ERICA at adirectsolution.com.
and by the way, Dan, do you go on LinkedIn?
Occasionally.
So go on, we'll make the occasion tonight. We are going to post, Erica and I devised a little summary of her key points, and we're going to post that by about 5:05, so pretty quickly. And then she's going to follow up and include a few attachments that I think you'll find very useful in getting started, including this roadmap. Okay, so go on LinkedIn. And then we're going to send you a tape and recording. Does anybody else have any final questions? I'm going to take advantage. We're all dealing with computer screen fatigue. How are you dealing with computer screen fatigue? Other than having your internet go down, how else?
Yeah, right. That was a good one.
How else are you dealing with computer screen fatigue?
Yeah.
How are you dealing with?
How am I dealing with it?
Yeah.
Oh, I try not to have too many Zoom meetings a day. So, but I mean, again, I don't have too much of a problem. Yeah.
I know this is your second webinar of the day.
Yeah.
You got a few minutes left. By the way, Erica, I give everybody a money-back guarantee who joins us for one of our communities.
Yeah.
Your chances of getting the gift go way up when you ask. And by the way, your chances of getting monthly gifts go way up when you start to ask. Michael, any last questions? We're getting ready to sign off. Any last questions, Michael?
I don't see anything in the chat space, but if anybody has a question, now is the time to ask.
This last time. Hey, Lindsay, did you have a question? I cut you off.
No. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. And I think I got all the info for DFS in the chat for you.
Good. Okay. Well, listen, thank you for the leadership you provide. Erica, we learned that technology is wonderful until it's not. But it doesn't happen too much. And again, I want to thank you for the leadership and the wisdom that you have provided everybody in philanthropy, donors and fundraisers.
You're welcome.
Boy, the nice thing about you've accomplished so much as our Renaissance lady, and you're not slowing down one bit. And we can't wait to see your monthly, your new book coming out in the next couple of months. Any final words? And any final words?
No, just start asking and start small, and like Jim says, like download that monthly donor roadmap, because I think that has a lot of ideas in it as well. So, and that's and I know I know sometimes people like to see big stuff. So if you want to send me an email, I'm happy to. I have printed copies of it, so I'm happy to mail those out free of charge. So so just let me know.
We're going to put something on LinkedIn. Erica is going to follow up and have a couple of links to these useful resources, but also on LinkedIn will be all her contact information. Okay.
Yeah.
And she promises to have the internet up by, she probably.
Well, that's what I'm trying. I'm trying to restart it right now. I don't know what's going on, but
I hope it doesn't mean you will miss the Red Sox, but from Marston Mills.
Oh yeah, I don't care about that.
Don't say that.
You can have them.
And let me thank Michael Argent. And so we are going to put a summary up on LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah.
And then we are going to send out the slides and the recording. And then I have a promise from Erica. You know, when you do a good job, you come back. And so we're going to try to
Thank
find
you.
some time
Yeah.
in her schedule this fall. Erica, I can't wait to read your book. And again, thank you
Yeah,
for
great.
time and leadership.
Thanks. I can't wait to read yours.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Thank you, guys.
everyone,
Bye.
thank you, everyone in our
Thanks.
community. Michael, so we'll have a tape to share. Oh, Michael, what do you say in about 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, Mike, and nice improvising too. You know,
Yeah.
so that's all we can do. Thank you for helping us get the plan B. Joel, thank you. Lindsay, thank you. Who else? Charlotte Ann, always thank you. Dan, welcome to our learning community, and please come back. So have a good week. Next Wednesday, we'll
Thanks.
be discussing donor revised funds. And I'll tell you what, it's like the two hottest buttons to push in fundraising are monthly giving and donor revised funds. So we'll see you next Wednesday for donor revised funds. Erica Waasdorp, a warning, we're coming your way and we're going to get lobster rolls.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey,
Sounds
you
good.
very much,
Thank
Erica.
you.
Speak to you later. Bye-bye. Okay, Michael, speak to you later. Thanks.